Hello.
Hi.
Yay. Hey, we made it. The power of technology.
We got there in the end, kind of.
Yeah, I know. Never let it be said that people who are like, no Madiki or I don't know, a tech savvy. Like, I'm saying it's about me. I'm not saying it's about you. I'm saying it's about me. So,
Oh, I
um,
think it's definitely true of me.
cool. So we're gonna crack on as if like the last. I'm not even gonna say how many minutes. It's never happened, but like we are
Six and
properly
a half
live.
hours.
6.5 hours trying to get live have never happened. So I'm majorly excited to be joined today by Tom Dillon, the host of a really amazing podcast. So I'm going to let you properly introduce yourself and say who you are, but tell us who you are and tell us what your version of freedom looks like, if that's all right, Tom.
Okay, so who am I? I'm just a guy, and that's very true. Uh, and why should you care about this particular guy? You probably shouldn't. If you're going to, then I did a bit of politics in my younger days. Then I transitioned into property when I worked out I wasn't making a lot of money, which isn't the only reason to do things, but at the time it was my main motivation. So it's good to be honest about that. And then so I did property for a few years, and then now I'm able to travel a bit more and do things with my time that I like to do. I've forgotten this. What I don't have is a good short-term memory. What was the second half of the question?
Well, you also didn't mention that you are the host of my favourite property podcast, Cuppa Coffee
It's true.
Property Podcast. And
Mm.
I love how you do that in a way that works for you. Like, I think how you do it is really quite unusual. I'm not even going to go share too much about that, but anybody listening, go and listen to it. I'll pop the links in. But my question was, how like you've stacked life so that it gives you a certain type of freedom. So what does freedom look like? What does freedom look like to you?
Okay. Well, I guess I think it's a good idea to mention undergraduate politics studies to really turn people off immediately in their droves. But when I was thinking about this, I thought when we were learning about that, we learned about the two types of freedom: freedom from and freedom to,
Uh-huh.
TO. And freedom from's the idea that classic kind of Sunday night. Oh God, I don't want to go to work in the morning. That's freedom from not having that, not having to do things you don't want to do. And then there's freedom to, and I guess they're both opposite sides of the same coin, which is so then once you've got that lack of dread, 'cause you've got a little bit more time freedom, or whatever you want to call it, then what you're going to do with that freedom. And I think that's a very nice problem to have, but a problem nonetheless. A problem that a lot of people underestimate because they never face it. People typically say when you say to them, "Oh, what would you do if you didn't have a job or didn't have anything to do?" Oh, well, I wouldn't have any problem with that. I'd go on cruises, go on holidays, and that's only partly true. It's true because
Mhm.
it's true because they would do it for a few weeks, and then, like most people, they get bored and want the next thing, and then they have to work it out for themselves. And I think some people struggle with that a lot more than they realise.
Yeah.
But so what does it like for me to try and answer your question for a change? It looks like being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I think there's a great deal of truth in that old adage that the important things are where you are, what you do, and who you do it with, probably in reverse order. And I think I have a good degree of freedom of those things. So that's what it likes to me. Me and the wife, we travel a lot. We live for short periods of time in different places, and I don't have 0 hours of work to do. It's quite a bit more than that, but I don't have to be in a particular time, a particular place all that often. Apart from this is
Yeah.
the main thing. So that's what freedom looks like to me.
Cool. Okay. Then you sort of run your property business so you run your property business from wherever you want to be in the world, right? Do
That's right.
you want to share where you are now, or are you going to be like,
Oh, you have to guess from my surroundings,
I
like
know from you.
geocache or whatever. No, in Japan at the moment. My wife's Japanese, so we spend some time here because the weather's nice, the people are nice, the cycling's nice, and we get to see her family and things. So we do spend some time out here.
Yeah, I love it. And just going back to what you said about, when you get, time freedom. I mean, like, how many people when they retire end up going back to work because it's difficult to figure out what to do with their
Mm.
time. I mean, my husband retired a few years ago at 43 years old, and you know what? Like nobody really retires at 43 years old, so it's
Mm.
it's kind of it's been a process for him just to stack life differently. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a problem. It's a nice problem to have, but it's certainly a problem. And I love how you do it, and I love how you organise your time. So my next question then is myths, right? Because you live life in a certain way, and we. I've heard different things over the years about things that are possible or reasons that people think that they can't do this. So, what are some of the myths, or what are the most popular myths that you hear people say about why? either why they can't live like you or things that they assume about how you live, which just aren't true.
Well, that's two things, which is
I
dangerous to
suppose
start off with. But
it is.
let's go with the one I can remember, and you can remind me of the second one in a minute.
Yeah.
So, I think there are a few obvious ones. Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I'm too busy. I don't have those skills. I'm not that kind of person. By the way, that one's true for a lot of people. I think that one's not a myth. That's just true.
Yeah. This is a lot of people's idea of hell, right? You know,
Right,
how
right. Yeah.
our lives are very different, but, you know, traveling with backpacks or traveling frequently is a lot of people's idea of hell.
Yeah. Yeah, lumpy income. You know, and I'm speaking for me, not for anyone else, but lumpy income sometimes, or yeah, but it's like some months being better than others, worse than others. A lot of paperwork, a lot of travel. It's an absolute nightmare for some people. My question would be, why are you here, you people? Why are you listening to this? Is it like you want to listen and go, oh my god, I definitely don't want to do that. Anyway, welcome. It all counts the same. So all those myths and plenty of others besides. It doesn't matter to me which one's the most common. What I think they all have in common is they're all myths. And so if you're trying to take something useful from this, and really, really do try and take something useful from this because we're both sat here doing something, which is, if you can take something useful, it would be, I could hear myself, before I started all this, if someone was doing something I was maybe envious or jealous of, something I wanted to do, and they would be telling me about it, I find myself almost like instinctively and almost too quickly like saying, oh, well, I couldn't do this because. And what that really is, when you do that, it's not reason, it's not truth, it's fear dressed up as reason. Yeah. It's you. What it really is your inner monkey brain, lizard brain, whatever, saying, I'm afraid, I'm scared of that, and so I'm going to just immediately reject it out of hand because I can't see how I could ever get there. What I'd say is, when you, at the time, it's probably too difficult. But when maybe later in the day or the next day you're reflecting on a chat you had with someone, is think, yeah, that wasn't reason. That was just me being defensive and being defeatist. And if you don't want to change anything in your life, great, carry on. It's all fine. But if you do want to do some of the things that Julie's talking about on these chats, well then, tune into that as a little message and maybe try and change one thing. That's the other mistake people make. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of the questions here, but the other mistake people make is to try and change all of it at once. Like, I'm going to be a millionaire by Friday. Like, good luck with that. But so as far as possible, I'd tune out of that kind of noise and instead tune into what one thing. There's that very nice adage about, if you want to run a marathon, you don't need to know how to get to mile 26. You need to know how to get to mile 1. So get to mile 1. Do something. Do one thing that moves away from that kind of, I couldn't possibly do that because of X, because whatever X is a lie. And instead move towards, how could I do that thing that I've wanted to do forever? Because I've got news for you. You're all going to be dead in a fairly short number of years. This is jolly, isn't it? And so whatever it is you want to do, you should get out there and do it because you it sounds a bit negative, but you regret it if you don't.
Yeah. I remember someone. It was years ago when I was doing some traveling, like in my 20s, and some where I was working, somebody who was I had like a temp job and they worked there full time, and they said to me, "Oh, how did you get here? It's." And they were going on about how I'd done it, and I was like, I just booked the plane ticket, and it was one way. It kind of, it was really no more difficult than that. And some people don't want to do that, and that's totally fine. But it really was just book the ticket, and then things then happen next when you book the ticket. So I'm always quite careful not to trivialize or oversimplify. But you're exactly right. It's just taking the first little step, and then once you've taken that little step, then other magic can happen, can't it?
And here's the crazy thing, is everybody listening knows what that is for them. Whatever that little step is, there might be the odd person, but by and large, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I'd like to do that, not only do you know what you want, you know deep down what the one thing is that you need to do right now. And it's not a massive thing. It could be speak to your uncle who's living in the States and having a great old time of it and has been there for 20 years, and you're like, how's he doing that? I've never really asked him because maybe you're ashamed or embarrassed or afraid. That he'll tell you, because he probably will. Because I would, if somebody asked me, I'd tell them exactly. That's the other thing, going back to your question, is people don't ask me what I'm doing exactly. They make assumptions and jokes and stories. Oh, it's on the slum landlord, this, that and the other. And I'm fine. They make some good jokes, by the way. They're funny jokes, so I'm not having to go, my mate's making jokes. They're great. But what they've never done, I get the impression at least a few of them want to do, is say, in a serious voice, but they wouldn't want to do that, with other mates standing around with it, drinking beer, is what exactly is it you do, and how exactly is it you do it? And they won't do that. I don't know if this is a male thing or not, maybe probably more so, but I don't know. Like a bravado macho thing, where there's very few people who have actually asked me what I do and how I've done it. And
Yeah.
if somebody did, I would tell them. Kiyosaki famously in his Rich Dad Poor Dad book, which everyone should
Yeah.
read and probably many people have, says people when they find out I'm a millionaire, nobody asks me the right question. The right question
Yeah.
is how can I do that? What they ask me is can I have a job,
Yeah.
which is the only
Yeah.
question.
And you know what? Well, I loved so much of what you said in there. And you know, these talks are 15 minutes to get some gold out, and there's so much gold in there. But the one piece I'm going to pick up on is you said that everybody knows what the right next step is for them, and I really
Mm.
like that because I find that sometimes people can ask you to tell them what their next steps are. And I just think there's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there? Like 5 things to do and all that for how to do things, when really we all actually know what we need to do next. And it's different for each of us. And we've just kind of got to have the confidence to do that thing for us, not necessarily follow somebody else's path.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so my next sort of like question is then, it's all about like hacks is a bit of a cheesy word, but like some sort of like, practical sort of like tips or hacks, just to say it again, of what you use to make your life work. So one of the ones for me is wherever we go, we always tend to try and do 10,000 steps a day because we get to walk around where we are, we get to know the area, we get to see things, and we get to exercise at the same time. So it could be something business related or it could be something more lifestyle related, but what are some of the things that you do to make your life work?
We start with the quotes. I like quotes, which is
Well,
you don't. Everyone can finish this one at home for a bonus point. You don't rise to the level of your ambitions. You sink to the level of your systems.
yeah.
And so it's an old trope, but very true. Is start build some systems to start with, or maybe even don't. Maybe go out there and throw 1,000 things around, because if you're just starting out, it's more like that crazy energy, scattergun energy that I think most people need. It depends, of course, everyone's journey is different. But if you're starting a hustle, then maybe you need to try 100 things to find which 2 or 3 work. But then as soon as anything good starts to happen, is try and systemize it. And that doesn't need to, that sounds boring. It doesn't need to be boring these days. It can be as simple as recording what you're doing on a video and getting someone else, often someone living far away from you, to write down what you did. Or even AI can do a lot these days, right? So they can transcript what you just said, turn that into a system. Now you've got a system, because the value of a business typically are a bunch of systems. That's what a business is in especially a lot of service industries. If you're making widgets, then the widgets are kind of important. So that would be one of them. So you need systems, and then the other one is both lifestyle and business. Is famously Claudio Ranieri was dubbed the Tinker Man. I think was in charge of Leicester City a few years ago. The football reference there, and but I think tinkering can be really good. For give a tiny small example. That's going to make me sound like I'm an international man of leisure. Maybe I am trying to be, but I'll bring it down a level for keeping it real. Which is, I found that I had 2 sessions of table tennis in the evenings, and it was making me tired. It was too much. You might think table tennis, but it was actually quite a bit of leaping about type of table tennis, like stuff you see on the telly, but just missing the table a lot more. And so I just moved one of those to a lunchtime. Tinkering, and I found not only did my table tennis improve, but my schedule improved, my lifestyle improved. And now on Fridays I play futsal on a Friday, depending where I am in the world, it might be Friday. And my knees can't take that much punishment. So on a Thursday I try and have a bit of yoga, rather than do a run or something like that, so that my knees are actually fresh and I feel kind of bendy on a Friday. Now we're all doing that all the time, but my point is you can apply those kind of hacks, to go back to our favourite word here, those kind of shortcuts, those kind of just simple things. Again, it doesn't need to be huge things, but again, go back to one thing. There's one thing you need to do on the development side to get started with this, if you're depending where you are in this journey, but also on the kind of improving your life side. One very quick example would be, I really like hammocks, and the other, not looking at them like, oh look at that one, but I like spending time in hammocks on a sunny day next to a beach. That's one of my most happy things I can do, more so than most people. Like, who doesn't like a hammock? But I think I'm even more sort of keen on them than most people. But how often do I do it? Not nearly often enough. So the other year I was like, right, let's spend some more time in hammocks. And now I do, probably about every couple of months. Whenever I'm next to the beach, I have a hammock, I take it with me, and I lie in it for 10-15 minutes, and it makes my life a bit better. And if you keep doing that, you'll have a happier life.
Yeah. Oh, Tom, that is amazing. Thank you so much. So tell us about the podcast and tell us where people can find you.
Yeah, well, first of all, don't find me. You know, leave me alone and just go and do your own thing. You know, maybe do something you want to do, and or you know, achieve some stuff. Then that'd be amazing. But if you wanted to find me, and of course, I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek, because we do have excellent podcast episodes to check out and things like that. Then you can find just put into Google or any search engine Cuppa Cuppa Property Podcast, and you'll find me, and find the podcast. Or if you want to learn about property mentoring, then visit bestpropertymentoring.com.
Mm-hmm. And should we even talk about the meetup? I mean, not only is the podcast, but you've also got a pretty awesome, favourite property meetup. Go on, tell us about that.
I forget what we do. So we do a couple of meetings a month in person in Manchester in the UK. But for those who are international, which I imagine is many of you, then we do first Saturday of the month from 9 till 10:30 a.m. UK time. But you can log in from anywhere, and people do. Free of charge. Again, Google it. You'll find the links. Julie will send it, whatever. And that's a really exciting free meeting to get people excited and involved in property and generally trying to improve their lot in life.
Yeah, and I love it. You know, I love about those meetings. Although it's like Manchester, quite often when we dial into them, there's people from all over in there. I mean, sometimes it is our Manchester people who are, you know, in different places, but there's, you know, people from all over the world as well. So
yeah, there's people who've got zero interest in buying Manchester property, which I quite like.
Oh, cool. Right. Well, on that note, I'm going to let you get on with the rest of your day, and it's been fantastic talking to you. And speak soon.
There's a slogan. Thanks very much, Julie. Thanks everyone. Appreciate it. Your time. Bye.
Tom, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries.
So get some more people on the podcast. Give them a little bit. Cool. Right. Well, I will let you scoot off now. I'm sorry it's taken so much of your so much time.
That's all. I've worked out that I can't log into my Facebook on my computer, so right, okay, I need to work on that. Totally on me, but glad we sorted it out.
But you don't need to be on Facebook or Instagram at all. Like, you're doing everything that you're doing without being on social media. Like, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, me too. Like, I don't want to be on there. I don't want to be on there like, oh, I'm on there, like I'm looking at what my friends from school did. I've not seen for 30 years. But I do want to be on there like, what's my password? I don't want to be able to get on there when I choose to. So it's two different things, really.
Yeah, cool. Right, well, I'll let you jump off. Connie's going to be in touch soon because she's got some. You're going to be working hard, I tell you, with some
exciting guest updates. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, cool. All right, have a good rest of your day.
You too. Cheers, Julie. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you. Bye.